Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and what the hell is Marvel planning on doing with all these dead Celestials? Tiamut from Eternals in the Indian Ocean has come up again recently from some unconfirmed rumors about Captain America New World Order from a couple scoopers, but we know Marvel doesn't want us to just forget about this giant corpse based on a mention of him in She-Hulk. And most recently, we learned the Guardians of the Galaxy have moved into the skull of another Celestial nowhere, making it a home for themselves and other refugees after Thanos' conquest. So is this what people just do with Celestial corpses now? Turn them into houses? Well, I speculated after Black Panther Wakanda Forever confirmed that 2 vibranium meteorites struck Earth millions of years apart in ancient times, that this seems like more than a coincidence at this point, and vibranium as a mineral could, in the MCU, be a gift from the Celestials for intelligent life to advance technologically. Maybe even Celestial armor is made out of vibranium. And now, in this past week, a few online scoopers are getting worked up with unverified claims that Captain America New World Order will revisit the corpse of Tiamut as a contested piece of real estate. Quick reminder about what we know about New World Order. This fourth Captain America film will follow Sam Wilson as Captain America after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's coming May 2024. Harrison Ford is playing President Thaddeus Ross. Tim Blake Nelson is returning from the 2008 Incredible Hulk film as Samuel Stearns, aka the Leader, Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley, and Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, aka the New Falcon, and Shira Haas as Ruth Bott Saraf, aka Sabra. Based on Val's confirmation as the MCU's CIA director in Wakanda Forever and her interest in acquiring vibranium for the US government and her role in Thunderbolts later that summer, I wouldn't be surprised if Val shows up in this movie as well. But then last weekend, scooper Daniel RPK made a series of unverified claims about New World Order and Thunderbolts, which many believe to be heavily intertwined storylines. Now, like many scoops, these have not been verified by any legitimate news source. They themselves do not constitute news, so take them with a grain of salt, because it's really a coin flip that these kind of scoops will end up being bullshit. But according to these rumors, Tiamut will be revealed as a valuable island and a source of adamantium. That's the vibranium alloy that of course was used to make Wolverine's skeleton and claws, and that Tiamut Island will later go by the name Genosha, that in the comics is a mutant colony overseen by Magneto. The rumors go on to say that New World Order will feature President Ross and other countries warring for control over this island. And not missing a beat, another scooper, MyTimeToShineHello, weighed in with their own scoops, speculating that Tiamut Island won't be Genosha or even be called Tiamut Island, as they believe no one outside the Eternals ever knew the name Tiamut. Now, there is an easy fix there. You could just make Karun go on a few podcasts. That kind of thing worked for Endgame and Scott Lang, but you know, whatever. But again, we do not know how seriously to take these rumors. This often happens when Marvel announces highly anticipated titles the following year, and then we start to hear a slow trickle of casting news, but the studio's otherwise silent, and these online accounts start to fill in that silence with exciting sounding reports to varying degrees of reliability. But the reason I'm exploring this today is that Marvel Studios is transitioning from Phase 4 to Phase 5, definitely leaving us with some loose thread curiosities like the status of Celestials, the physical nature of Celestials, and the role of vibranium as a resource. In the Eternals film, a news report hinted at the public reaction to Tiamut's marbleized form in the ocean.
The sudden appearance of an enormous stone figure in the Indian Ocean has left more questions than answers for authorities. U.S. and Australian naval ships are maintaining defensive positions.
We don't really hear the rest of the report, but you can make out the reporter saying, quote, no reports of movement, and quote, by the White House. So it's clear based on this that world governments have taken interest in Tiamut. And maybe the reason no one in the MCU is talking about Tiamut, aside from a recommended link appearing on a website in She-Hulk, is because this has become a top secret disputed zone. A kind of no man's land that no media, let alone any military forces, could try to go anywhere near. Kind of like the Chinese building islands in the South China Seas so that they can try to claim naval authority over those waters in those shipping lanes. In addition to a potential threat to global ecology and sea levels that have explored in other videos, Tiamut is a major game changer to geopolitics and international relations in the MCU. It has also long been established that Celestials' corpses are just valuable resources in general for various lucrative commodities. When the Collector owned Nowhere in the Guardians of the Galaxy film, his Tavan Corporation mined this skull for brain tissue and spinal fluid for sale. Now the Guardians of the Galaxy own this location and have turned it into a home, which suggests that Tenali Tavan might have cleared the skull of any mineable resources, or maybe he found a more valuable mining opportunity to move his operations to, like perhaps the rest of the body of Nowhere. But Black Panther Wakanda Forever confirmed that the people of Talocan had their own heart-shaped herb and their own deposits of vibranium in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. There's a good chance that that was the Chicxulub impact event. That was the asteroid that hit Earth 66 million years ago. That's one that killed the dinosaurs and created the Chicxulub crater. That actually could have been the same impact that we saw in the Eternals film when the Celestials planted the Celestial celestial seed that would one day grow into Tiamut. That asteroid clearly created a shockwave and broke off mineral deposits as it burrowed toward the core of the Earth. So if that is our missing link, vibranium came to Earth from celestials, Tiamut could indeed be a source of vibranium on the planet, and when Cersei transformed him into marble, that vibranium in him could have taken on a new form as well, a form known as adamantium. In the comics, adamantium is named after the fabled metal adamantine from Greek mythology. Who knows, in the MCU, if people don't know Tiamut's name, they could just call this thing Adam and derive the name that way. But remember, She-Hulk also included that other headline, man fights with metal claws and bar brawl. So if we do take that as a legitimate Wolverine reference, adamantium must already be in a liquid form and Weapon X must already be underway. I honestly do believe that Marvel Studios is going to find some purpose for Tiamut's corpse. The studio always circles back to repurpose old plot threads and characters. Even for movies, the studio, you could say, has reasons to let fans forget, like bringing back both Abomination and the Leader from the 2008 Edward Norton Hulk film, and then setting major portions of Avengers Endgame during the events of Thor: The Dark World, and of course Shang-Chi, owning up to Iron Man 3 using the name of the Mandarin, as well as bringing back Trevor Slattery and Extremist Soldiers. So Tiamut is just too big to ignore in the MCU and too rich of a playground to leave unexplored. Now, yeah, there might be more livable habitats than giant marble fingers for mutants to settle on and call Genosha, and really, we have to meet some X-Men before we can establish a Genosha. But as an adamantium mine that gets blown to hell by countries bombing it so that other countries can't mine it, and a President Red Hulk smashing it to bits, that's a pretty fun way to use a giant corpse. Let me know your thoughts on all this, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching, bye.